Hey there, how's it going? Just got back from the thrift. I thought I'd start the video off by showing a recent sale. Um, it's a lot of Littlest Pet Shops that I've been just finding one at a time. It's in oftentimes I'll show the bags of toys that I find at the thrift. A lot of times I'll find one, two, three, sometimes more, but either way, I gather them up. And then eventually lot them up. This was a pretty good sale. They are pretty hot right now. Sold almost instantly. I saw similar amounts selling for between 200 and 300, so I thought I'm just gonna get these sold quick. I'm just getting back from Goodwill. And this little haul real quick, straight out of the trunk. Go through stuff like I'll get it in the house and set it on the table. Go through stuff a little bit better. Just thought I'd show it in the raw. There's a bunch of Lennox Christmas ornaments in here. I picked this up, this big stereo, because I found a pair of Pioneer speakers that I have to test out, and so I have to plug them into, I had to have a stereo that I plug into the back. So I picked that up for personal use, to be in really, really good shape. Got a little chair, kind of hard to see. Got a little chair for Lucas's room. Now I'll have two chairs in there to be playing video games. But yeah, I'll bring this in the house. One of these items in here sells for over $100. I'm into this pile for $46. But yeah, I'll get it in the house and on the table and show it better. And then I'll tell you what item sells for over $100. See you in a minute. All right, got it all on the table here. I'm going to show a few comps. So basically, it's this pile of Christmas ornaments right here. Basically, it's Lennox. A lot of times in the thrift, you see Lennox plates, I want to say. Most of those things are worthless, but in terms of Christmas ornaments, they average here, what I have here is $10. Just a couple of them are, like this one right here in this red box I'll show you in a sec is Joan Rivers. That one goes for about $40. But most of them are just these cute little ornaments, and I'll show comps. I can't remember, this one I think went for 15 bucks. And there's a few on the market, so you're going to put it up at a reasonable price and hope to, get the sale on yours instead of someone else getting the sale. But I have, I don't know, more than a dozen. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 in this box alone. It's 10, 20, 30, 40 just in this box. And then there's just a bunch more. This one isn't Lennox, but it's some sort of special little Texas courthouse, Texas Capitol ornament. When I looked it up, I think it went for $20. So, I mean, I'll put it up for 15 and I'll probably make at least 10. So that's kind of the thing that I'm like, the way I'm factoring it in. I'll put them up for 15. The ones that are 20, I'll put them up for 15 and I'll sell them for 10. So, I got a dozen or so that are like that. And then I got a couple that stand out. Here's another one that stands out. I'll put a comp for this. If I remember right, this one was 30. And then a lot of them are just little average guys. And again, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and some of them are going to be, I didn't even look them all up yet. Some of them are going to be surprises again and should be another 20 or another $30. So we're up in around, a couple hundred just in these several. If I remember right, this little Santa was a $20 bill. This is a different brand, Long Art, and they make bulbs that are hand painted. I'll put a comp here. Hand painted, reverse painted, I think was the terminology. So someone paints the inside, so you can't feel the texture of the paint. Painting is on the inside. If I remember right, they're going for $30. We're into this for a couple hundred, another 10, 20, 30, and I'll show some more comps. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's another That's a couple hundred at least, at the very least. These are just some Hey Dudes that I think are Lucas's size that we might wear to the river. Throw those over there. Free pack of underwear, new underwear, probably for Lucas if they fit. This is just a neat little train set. It weighs next to nothing and it goes for about 15 bucks. Just a little car, just a Athern is the brand. I'll show a comp. But it's just weighs next to nothing. I'll put it up for 15 bucks and I'll make 10 bucks off of it. So it's along the same lines as these guys. Real quick, I'll show you the thing that should sell for over $100. This blow mold, which I have to put light in. It's a light. I want to say the brand was Billy for some reason. But it says right under here, made in USA. It's old. And Halloween people buy it up. So one of the sales, I think, was in July, and it went for 150 plus. And then another sale was in May, I think, and it went for 95. So that's a good average right there for just this little thing. I have when I'm in the thrift and I see the little vintage light things that plug in, I grab those. So I have like probably 10 of them. I'll just put one in here, throw it up for sale. Should pay for everything, make everything free, and should be at least $50 profit for just this one sale. And then all the rest of it is profit, profit, profit. I'll list that right away probably, just to try to, again, I've said it before, to try to get my money back. Got another little bag of toys, different things in there. There's some Care Bears in there, little sparkly Care Bears. I'll sell those as a lot. I got some Bluey figures in there. I'll sell those as a lot. If Tula doesn't have one of them, she picks the little characters out that she likes. So really quick, I don't want to take up too much time, but this is an old model. AMT is the model. The box is beat, but it does look to be new. I did see comps at around $30, if I remember right. I'll put a comp up here. But I mean, even if I get $15, $20 out of it, it's profit. The one item pays for everything. It's almost a guaranteed sale because it's to collectors that go crazy about that stuff. So at the very least, conservatively, say I only get 50 bucks for that. Everything else is paid for. Another, start adding all this up, it becomes another 15 bucks. This is a Jim Shore Santa. Jim Shore Santa 2021. I'll show the comp here. If I remember right, it was $20, $30, something like that. Jim Shore is another good one to find. It's a nice one to find when it's little like this, easy to ship, and it should be at least 20 bucks, conservatively. Set that right there. I'll show this really quick. This is really pretty. I knew this was going to be decent. Decent for me is 20 bucks. I knew this was going to be decent as soon as I looked at it. It's just these really pretty heart ornaments. I just snapped a picture. Google told me it was Joan Rivers 2016 heart ornaments. If I remember right, they were going for, I want to say 40. So again, if I make 20, if I make 30, adds to the rest of it. Cat for Toots. These little guys she's collecting. I'll put it in the washer. It'll go in her collection. Let's see. A lot of times I'll just grab these little things that are kind of nothing, but you see them in the store, and sometimes kids are like, I wish I had that or whatever. This is just one of those little remote control cars. Costs next to nothing. Put it in the pile. Little containers to grow. Have some fun growing some vegetables or whatever. This is a snowman vintage ornament. It says right on someone wrote it on the box. I remember looking this up. I'll show a comp. I want to say Jenny Parr, but if I'm wrong, then I look silly. Right here it says the actual name of it. And if I remember right, they were asking 30 bucks. So again, if I get 10, if I get 20, bonus. It all just starts to add up, and it just becomes this, like everything else, kind of sells when it sells, and it all adds up at the end of the month. Okay, this is the last thing, and this is This was just sitting in a bin. Someone put it back, actually, pretty sure. Just sitting in a bin in a paper bag. And I don't know anything about, I am constantly learning. That's what's fun about this. I'm just constantly learning new stuff. And this, I know metronomes can be good, but I don't even know why or what brand is good, or, but somebody likes them. And this is one that somebody likes. The brand is Seth Thomas, and I believe it's vintage. I've found metronomes before. A lot of times this little key thing, little winder thing is missing or broken. But I looked up the model number, which it's right on the bottom here. More, but I'll show it right there. And then I'll show a comp. Again, conservatively, this is the last item I'll show. Everything else is already added up to, I think, $500 conservatively with the really good sale. This was the most that I stayed there in a good month. I've been trying to just pop in for an hour here and there. Yeah, the last thing I found, I'll put it up right here, was just a couple of days ago. I walked out with having just spent, I think, $6. And it was this pair of electric, it was electric, so it was by the 69 cents a pound. And it's a pair of vintage Pioneer speakers. They're just these little guys that are only about this big. I'll show a comp again right here. But the listings to buy them on eBay are over $200. I have mine listed for, I think, 175, 155. And that radio I just got was to test them. They're in really good shape. So it should be fine, but I'll figure out if that $6 pickup is going to turn into, say, $100. But yeah, most of what I've been getting is just a couple things here and there. I'll spend like between $5 and $10 on just a few things. But this was cool. It's Saturday. It was chill in there. There was a couple of incidents between a couple of people, but for the most part, it was a super easy, low-key 3 hours to make probably $500. The last thing I found was fun to Google it and go, oh, wow, this sells for over $100 most of the time. So anyways, that's the video this week. I'll see you on the next one. I always forget to say subscribe. From the looks of it, a lot of people aren't getting to the end of the video based on the little stats that they show you or whatever. So I should say subscribe. In fact, I'll put subscribe in a little word across the front so that in the editing, so that maybe somebody will subscribe sooner. I'm noticing all the other YouTube channels are saying, please subscribe. Some are even, propositioning people, if you would please subscribe. Even the biggest people are doing that. I always forget. Also, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. I'm just trying to catalog everything. This was a good day. Happy to catalog it. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.